Hey guys, Andrew Esquivel here, back with another review, and this is actually going to be more of a comparison and kind of an explanation of my experiences between a few different manufacturers of beneficial bacteria that is used to grow on the media inside your fish tank filters in order to cycle your aquarium. So, there's a number of differences between brands. And let's kind of go over that, because I've used the three main brands, which is Tetra Safe Start Plus, API Quick Start, and Seachem Stability. There's other options out there like Turbo Start, which are refrigerated bacteria and work much quicker, but we're not going to talk about those because those are highly specialized, and for many people they're very hard to get a hold of. So let's just keep it to the stuff you can buy off the shelf. So, first off, let's kind of talk about Tetra Safe Start Plus. This one tends to be the most recommended to people, and it's often generally pretty good because it's a bacteria that grows rather quickly and gets the aquarium cycle started pretty darn fast. However, just like Tetra Safe Start Plus, API does the same thing, but here's the difference between those two and Seachem Stability. If you ever have some situation in your fish tank, let's say some snails die of old age, they can be what we like to call an ammonia bomb. And they can create some serious ammonia spikes, among other things, that actually kill off the bacteria in your filter and can cause a mini cycle. Now, that's a problem, because if you're not testing constantly, you may not notice that your tank is going through a mini cycle, because like many of us, after the tank is fully cycled, we don't do checks on the water parameters as often as we do as when we're trying to get it to cycle. So you may not notice it happening, and you may have a die-off of some of your creatures, and only then you realize it's too late, and then you have to restart dosing again with more bacteria. That is a problem, but Seachem Stability has their bacteria, and yes, their bacteria is patented, so their bacteria is special to them, and the thing about it is, this stuff is way more resilient. It's much less susceptible to dying off due to situations like ammonia or nitrite or nitrate spikes. So, if there's a kind of cataclysmic disaster going on, the mini cycle that you may end up going through won't be as bad, or it may not happen at all, thanks to this stuff being just so darn sturdy. Another thing you have to take into consideration is the fact that everyone's fish tank is very unique. A lot of fish tanks have water parameters where the two aforementioned bacterias like Tetra Safe Start Plus and API Quick Start are just not going to grow very well in for whatever reason. But Seachem Stability, it really doesn't care what kind of water it's put in. Whether it's a cold water tank, a tropical temperature tank, it can be, as it says right here, freshwater or marine. That means brackish, it'll do fine as well. And two, I dare say that this stuff could probably even be in brine if you are really careful about it and you know what you're doing. Brine is like super salty, so I couldn't guarantee it, but I think this one would stand the best chance if you were going for something like that. But it also doesn't care really much about the pH, the general hardness, or many other parameters. As long as it's got water and media to attach to, this stuff really does work quite well. But there is a downside to this. Like I said, the other two grow pretty quick, and that's great, but they're also not very strong. This stuff is kind of the opposite. It does not grow very quick. It's actually quite slow to grow, so you need to have more patience with it. But once it's fully grown and your tank is fully cycled, this stuff stands a much better chance at preventing something like a mini cycle from happening for various reasons that might cause a mini cycle to happen down the road. So yes, this is a slower growing bacteria, but it is a more resilient bacteria. It is also a bacteria, as I said before, that really does not care what kind of water you put it in. Other bacteria simply just don't do as well in these ridiculously wide parameters that we all could be facing. So that's why I like this stuff. But here's one more piece of food for thought. Think about what I had just said. The bacterias from the other brands are not as resilient. Now, if you buy bacteria from Amazon or even from your local pet store, that bacteria has to come from the factory and then be sent to its destination location. If it's in the middle of summer, it can be blistering hot in that shipment truck. Or if it's in the middle of winter, it can be freezing cold. There's a very good chance that you can get bacteria that is dead before you ever get to use it, just from being in transit during shipping. But because stability is made of much more resilient bacteria, it is much less likely to have died during transit. So for that reason, I think this is a good choice. It takes longer, yes, but every tank that I have used stability in, strictly stability, I have never had to deal with a mini cycle. I have used Tetra SafeStart Plus, and I have had mini cycles. I have used API Quick Start, and I have gone to completely uncycled tanks from random and really catastrophic events involving some issues with a snail. So it's just my personal opinion, but I want you to kind of think about this just for a minute. Not all bacteria are the same. This stuff, yes, it does contain aerobic and anaerobic nitrifying and denitrifying bacteria. That basically does all the stuff you need. So some of these bacteria don't contain denitrifying bacteria. They just contain enzymes to help kind of encourage the growth of that bacteria that might already naturally be in the tank. This stuff has all the bacteria that you need already in the bottle, ready to go. So it's a more complete formula as well. But I'm sure you've heard me gas on long enough, and I'm sure you can probably Google the rest if you're really interested in knowing more differences. I just wanted to share my opinion about this stuff and seriously want you to consider, if you're starting a fish tank, going with Seachem stability versus the other stuff. A little bit of patience goes a long way, and I think that's clearly evident with something like this. This is by far my favorite, and I don't think I will be ever switching to another bacteria ever again. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video was informative. I hope it helps you with you and your little aquatic buddies. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, show your friends, check out my other videos. I got plenty of them, and I will see you next time. Stay fishy.